Hi Clarissa, this is Sam. I'm going to create a new virtual machine for you. This one will hopefully be much smaller. I'm going to make this video as a narration of the steps for building this virtual machine, and I'm going to show you some of the tools that I use because I would like you to use most of them, if not all of them. The first one is the terminal that I use. I use iTerm, and that's this one right here. It's not a terminal that Mac has. This is a different one. You'll have to, I think, go to the App Store or look it up on the internet and download and install iTerm 2. Make sure it's iTerm 2, not iTerm 1. You should pause watching this video right now and take care of that before you move on so you don't forget. And this goes for any other part of the video. If it's something that you need to do, just pause the video. The reason that the terminal application is important is we're going to be using it in order to SSH into the virtual machine. There are two ways of accessing the files in the virtual machine. One is through the shared folder, and the other one is by actually SSHing into the machine. But beyond being able to access the files, you need to be able to SSH into the virtual machine so that you can make changes to the configuration and other files which are not going to be part of the shared folder. The shared folder is a folder that's shared between the Mac operating system and the file system of the virtual machine. I'll show you my shared folder on the current machine that I have. So here's the machine, and here's VirtualBox. Inside Finder, here's my home directory. I have a folder called VB Shared. Inside of it, there's a folder called Sandbox. And that's my shared folder on the Mac side of the equation. Okay, now I'm going to show you that same shared folder, but inside the virtual machine. So to do that, first, I'm going to hide these two windows, okay, with Command H. And then I open iTerm, and I actually have an alias which causes me to be able to SSH using just one command, and that's Sandbox. And I can show you how to do this later. So I type Sandbox. Okay, before I do that, let me just show you something. Type host name. Here, it says I'm in SAM on the Macintosh Pro. Okay? Now, when I issue the command Sandbox, it's going to SSH into the virtual machine, which is called Sandbox. From now on, I'm going to call it Sandbox. I won't say the word virtual machine anymore. So hit Enter. Okay. Now, I'm going to clear the screen with Control L and then type host name again. Now, the host name is Sandbox because we have SSH'd into the virtual machine, and the host name of that machine is Sandbox. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the shared folder. PWD will give you the current working directory. Right now, we're in my home directory. I'm going to go to, it's called Media SF Sandbox. That is the shared folder. I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to get a listing. LL is another alias that I have for doing ls-lah command. I'll show you how to do these aliases later. Okay, so this is what I have in my shared folder inside of the virtual machine. Let me go show you that it's the same thing that's on my Mac in the shared folder. See? WebGrind. These are all the same files and folders that are here. Here, this is, look down here. It's in my Macintosh in Users, my home directory, VB Shared Sandbox. But in the virtual machine, it's in Media SF Sandbox. So the next thing that would need to be done is to download VirtualBox. This is the URL where you would find the download. make sure that you download the version for your operating system. I assume you're using a Mac, and about this Mac, the current version of Mac that I'm using is 10.12.5. And the installation goes the usual way that you install software on a Mac. So in this video, you learned about iTerm, you learned about downloading VirtualBox, and I showed you what a shared folder is. And I also explained the importance of using SSH in order to access all the files, not just the shared ones, on your virtual machine. In the next video, I will start by showing how we are going to get a copy of Linux to put on the virtual machine.